ladies and gentlemen, next we have our expert speak. She will be speaking on the topic Be Local but Global. Conscious designing with culture around. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the absolutely wonderful Richa Bahl from Richa Bahl Design Studio.
Hi everyone, it's wonderful to be here in Jaipur. I think all of us who've traveled from Bombay have a hidden agenda why we chose to come to Jaipur, because we love coming to the city, we love absorbing the heritage, the architecture, the food, the vibe. So, I mean, I'm really honored to be here and look forward today to kind of give you a little bit of something which I believe in. There is a qualitative and there is a quantitative part of everything, and I think Nishant gave us this info on this whole scenario of what really matters and what's happening in the trend and things which are really, really happening realistically. And I want to completely take you to the different side of things, which is slightly a more qualitative and more in terms of the vibe, the feelings, the design, which is related to what we do. Just to give you a context of where I'm coming from, also just to tell you, it's very unprepared talk today, okay? To what I really wanted to speak to you about, I think the team from IREC also has given me a free hand to openly come and talk about what I feel. So it's literally very impromptu. It's not prepared. I'm not going to show you slides. I'm not going to show you work. But I'm going to talk to you from my heart and tell you about a point of view which I believe in. And hence, when I was told that Jaipur is where I'm going to be presenting, I wanted to talk about Be Local but Global, conscious designing with culture around, because I think this state is a very big example of how the two worlds are meeting, and we're kind of keeping it contained and growing along with it. The other cities of the world have their other challenges in our country, and they have to move with whatever is the given. But I think Rajasthan has got a heritage with it, and it's a very, very big advantage. I just want to tell you, recently I went to Mexico in like completely very far away, middle of nowhere kind of a place. And it's supposed to be like a wellness place. And the welcome drink was, it was called the golden milk. And I was like, what is this golden milk? And when I asked what it is, it was literally haldi doodh. And every morning we were given a garlic. Again, I was like, oh my God, this is what we do in our country, you know? So the point which I'm making is that we have to realize there are lots of things which are getting borrowed today from different parts of the culture, our country. Like today I was on my flight sitting and scrolling through Instagram, and I was looking at this chef who's traveled to India, and he's gone to all over the country. He's learned things and he's fallen in love with chaat. Now he's gone back and recreated this entire chaat, in even like frying those puris which we don't buy, we don't make because we know it's easily available for us. The point is that it's so easy to take over something which someone's liking today and make it their own. I don't know how long turmeric is going to be asked, because you're getting these turmeric lattes and these golden milks today. So the point is to look back and see what we really have and try and build and say that if the world can globally look at it and turn it around for them, how are we taking this and sticking to these little nuances, culture, local traits, things which we've grown up with, things which we are seeing around us, are so inherent to us that why aren't we really easily applying it to design? We don't realize that, you know, when we wake up, we are looking at our phones, we are looking at news all over the world, we are watching Korean shows, on television, on Netflix. We're going in, there's such a big coffee culture. We're going picking up coffees from various places. But we are very global in that sense today. But for somehow when we look at design, we are still looking at local and global as two different aspects. And my whole thing is that we need to start really looking at saying what are those local nuances which we must and we can carry it forward in our design. If we can, that will be great. If you look at a lot of the brands which come into our country, say for example, Starbucks, Starbucks, typically when it came, they wanted to go into heritage spaces. They could afford, they could afford to pay those rents. And they wanted to bring in and marry the culture of India and US together. So a lot of that effort is coming, but when you look at design, I just feel that we are looking more at modernity and we are kind of not integrating so much of our local. And that's something which is, I think, needs to get more conscious in our design. I feel more than any other time that it's time that we feel a very big high on India. And I literally feel proud to be an Indian today. And I really don't want to lose those important Indianness aspects which I have and give it away to the West to use. So what are those things which I can start applying is something which I really wanted to talk about. That was one thing. Yeah, and the other thing is that what I feel is the world is becoming one big space. You're literally slowly slipping into things, whether it's technology. It's not that technology is only arriving at one part of the world. It's equally available to all of us at the same time. The iPhones are launched. We all can get the iPhones, the latest one. Movies we can watch at the same time. In our design world, we are using all the kind of materials which are available anywhere in the world, whether it's the kitchens, whether it's the grout, whether it's any other kind of fitting materials. So it's literally becoming a one space. And how do you make yourself stand out in a world like this? What makes you unique, I think, is a question which we all need to think about and apply into our design. Again, I think being local also means that when you design, it's when you enter a space, it's a feeling, it's a familiarity, it's the feeling of something wowing you. It's very emotional. For me, when I design spaces and I work with clients, it's a lot of emotion riding on it, because when they step in, when they use the space, what emotions get evoked in them, how is it really marrying into their lifestyle. And it's not about usage and functionality, but it's like if it's a writer's space, then it needs to speak of that sensibility of a writer. It needs to have those kind of things which are more familiar to that person, rather than it just being a space which has basic few things just to make it look good. So it's got to do with a lot of culture sensibility, and a space always needs to evoke some kind of a feeling and some kind of sensibility, which again brings in a certain culture. So it's kind of like a circle within a circle, and you need to kind of peel it and figure it out, that how do you bring in those local and global nuances in that, and how do you create feelings out of that. Also, another thing when you are literally looking local is also very, very big part of our country and our culture is the talented workforce which we have, the artisans we have, the kind of people, painters we have, the artists we have. I think somewhere in the scheme of making the spaces look in a certain way, we've forgotten to get all those things involved in a house, which I think are very, very important, at least to me, and to bring use those local talent, and I would not even call them labor, but to kind of get that talent on board and create a space also becomes a great way to explore and stick to your local being global. And I just feel that it's also kind of give you a lot of sense of proudness, and ownership is far more better. So I think globally, design locally, the balance is much needed, and it's something which I truly believe in, and I wanted to share. And like I said, specifically when I come to a city like Jaipur, I see that marriage happening, and I find it very exciting. And I just hope it continues and you don't lose it. Thank you so much for listening to my point of view. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, please do ask.
I think a bigger round of applause, everyone. That was absolutely wonderful and well spoken. Richa, you were absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Can I request you to please stay on stage? Please request Mr. Rajendra Puri to please felicitate Ms. Richa Bahl. Can I have you on stage, sir?